guys, this is Henry Furchow from Team Lionheart, aka Team Bomani Lounge. I have a very cool deck profile for you today. I got first place at the OTS Trophy Tournament at my locals, and I also won Yu-Gi-Oh! Day. So I went 7-1 the first tournament, and yesterday I went 4-1. So I got first place at the first tournament, second place at the other tournament, and then my friend Elias has been getting first place as well with the same list. So it's a pretty cool deck. It's a deck I've been playing this format. For those of you that are looking for like a combo deck and don't really want to play any of the other combo decks, I suggest you give this one a try. So I got the first place trophy so I can participate in the Champions tournament in like October or November, and that should be a pretty cool tournament full of a lot of good players, and maybe I'll even play this deck, who knows. But huge shout out to my sponsor Bomani Lounge. They helped me with all of my decks, and also for my friend Elias for help pioneering this deck with me, and couldn't do it without him. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. So for the main deck, we play 41 cards. It's full of infinite tracks, machinas, and trains, and any third of your deck can get you to any other third of your deck, so it's really cool. So let's get into the infinite track ratios first. So we play 3 copies of Infinite Track Harvester. So for those of you who don't know what any of these cards do, Harvester is like your Stratos. It gets you to pretty much any card in your deck. You technically search an Infinite Track, but this gets you to River Stormer, and River Stormer can search you any other Earth Machines. So you play 3 copies of this as your starter, 2 copies of Brutal Dozer as your main extender. It allows you to get it allows Harvester to be a 1-card River Stormer. 2 Trencher, this is like your Orcus symbol skeleton. It summons from grave. It also has a hand effect to special summon it from your hand. 1 Anchor Drill, it's good for level manipulation and special summoning from your hand. If you draw something like a Citadel, you can special it from your hand and start playing the game that way. It's also another target for Switchyard, so it's a very good card. And then of course Tunneler is the card that is Pot of Avarice like on crack. It is extremely good because it says shuffle them and not those targets. So even if one of the targets gets like DD Crowed, you still shuffle and you still draw 2. You could also like chain your Overdrive Engrave to one of the targets and draw 3 cards, which is crazy. So there's a lot of cool interactions with this deck, but overall these are the perfect ratios that Elias and I have found work. We play 2 Dozer, which it kind of conflicts with Metal Cruncher because Metal Cruncher has to reveal 3 and your opponent randomly picks 1. But in order for that to backfire, you have to only open Metal Cruncher and nothing else, and your opponent has to pick the one that's not Dozer, so like a lot has to go wrong for you not to get Dozer. But in every other sense, this ratio is correct because you don't want to see multiple Dozers. You don't want to see the level 5s in general because those contribute to brick hands. As long as you see a starter though, they become really good extenders. So we played these for the infinite track ratio, and it was pretty solid. For the Machinas, we play 2 Cruncher, not 3, because like it gets redundant after a certain bit, like your deck is already crazy consistent. 1 copy of Fortress because it allows you to extend going second, and 1 Citadel as your boss monster. This card's crazy. A lot of people forget in the battle phase that it's in the graveyard and you get to summon it for free, and then you could like target something that like you could target like something that has a Goliath underneath that can't be destroyed by card effects, and then that monster doesn't get destroyed because of Goliath, but everything else still gets destroyed. So it's like so many cool, really cool interactions in this deck. It's also obviously level 10, so it's like an honorary 4th train, so it helps you with your rank 10 plays. And then also Cruncher and Fortress are used for your Enter Black Near combo that I'll show later in the video. Then for your trains, we play 3 trains, 2 Derricrane and 1 Bullet. Derricrane is needed to search if you need to OTK through back row, or if they only have like 1 monster, you could pop the monster, do 2,000, attack directly for 6,000. So there are some combos where you want to draw like Derricrane, but you usually search Bullet in case you only have 1. This allows you to cycle through your resources and get a setup for your turn 3. So overall, this is a good ratio. It doesn't matter if you don't draw them, you can search them throughout your combo, but if you do draw them, it can help you play through hand traps, and they're just good extenders. They're also level 10, so like if your Harvester gets ashed or something like that and you have a train, you could special summon the train. You can make these both level 12 and hard make Zeus, which is really cool. So they have a lot of utility in this deck actually, so it's really good, and they're fodder for Fortress and Grave. There's a lot of cool other interactions that I'll show you throughout the video. So then for engine requirements, we play 1 copy of Box, which is searchable throughout your entire combo. It's the breaking your deck. If you do draw this card, as long as you open up any starter like Harvester, or Heavy Forward, Redeployment, Metal Cruncher, you can actually put this card back with Tunneler and then research it later in your combo through Ballista and then search your Trencher. So it's actually really good in that sense because it's a Garnet that you can shuffle back and you can like continue to play the game. It's just a little awkward. So if you do draw, you're more susceptible to hand traps and things like that. So you just have to learn how to play those hands out. And then, like, the most broken monster in the deck, 1 Flying Pegasus Railroad Stampede. So by playing this card, yes, it's not good to see turn 1, but like past turn 1, it's like incredible to see because if by having this card in your deck, it makes Switchyard like a bomb because it allows Switchyard to just be a soul charge as soon as you summon a level 10 off Urgent Schedule, Anger Knuckle, just by summoning a trait from your hand. You can special summon from the deck. Just bring it back anything from your graveyard, and this can level modulate into anything it wants to be that's on the board. So if you bring back a level 5, you can make this into a River Stormer. If you bring back like a Metal Cruncher, you could actually make this into like an Earth Slicer. And then say you have like a Citadel Engrave, you could pop your own Earth Slicer, summon Citadel to make a rank 10 play. So it's extremely, extremely good. You just have to know all the combos to appreciate the card. So yeah, one of this. And then for the starter spells, we play 3 Heavy Forward. So Heavy Forward is really good because it lets you see any of your engine requirements and allows you to see Harvester, Dozer, plays through hand traps really well. Redeployment, actually one of my favorite starters in the deck because of the fact that if you have this in any other card, it's guaranteed you're going to rip a card from your opponent's hand, whether it gets hand trapped or not, because if it gets hand trapped, then you just rip the card from your opponent's hand anyway. And then if you have any other starter you play the game, if they Nibiru you, you don't care because you're still going to draw 2 cards. So it's like extremely hard to like know when to stop this deck because this card is just such a power push. And then speaking of power pushes, we play the ultimate power push card in Urgent Schedule. This card puts on so much pressure going second, and going first this search is a train. So people forget that. They play 2 because like their rationale is not good turn 0. But this card's actually like really good turn 0 if you know what you're doing. So this card, you can send it with Anger Knuckle from the graveyard, search a level 10, and then that's your other complement for your Dora. So it's extremely good. So you just want to draw these cards all day, and they're extremely good. I also think that you shouldn't build your deck purely for going first, even though you choose to go first. You're in a tournament, you're not going to win the dice roll every round, so you want cards in your deck that are good going second game 1. So those are your power 9. And then for your bombs, we play 2 Switchyard. So this is not a card that you want to open up in your opening hand, but in this deck, with Tunneler being such a good card, you shuffle back extra deck cards and you draw into like other main deck cards. So like hand traps, bombs, floodgates, and this is one of them that you want to draw into, is Switchyard, because it converts your resources really nicely. So if you're gonna search a bullet on your turn with your River Stormer, you can bring it back with Anger Knuckle and Switchyards on the field. You can special Stampede, and Stampede can special anything from your graveyard. And you can make like any extra deck monster from your entire extra deck. So it's really good, and it's just incredible because you're gonna get value off of this on your turn and your opponent's turn. So it's extremely good, and by having this in rotation, you're just gonna win the grind game outright. So and it promotes OTKs, so it's really good. Then for like the last kind of engine card, we play 2 Machina Overdrive. So this is searchable for redeployment if you pitch a Machina card. Otherwise, it's just a really good trap. You can activate it to destroy any Earth Machine, special Machina from your deck. So usually summon Citadel to wipe your opponent's board. However, if you have Citadel Engrave, you can activate this to pop one of your own monsters. Summon like you can summon your Metal Cruncher, and then Metal Cruncher could search, and then Chainlink 2 could beat Citadel, summoned from the graveyard because something was destroyed, and then Citadel can destroy something still by popping like a Metal Cruncher or itself. So it's really good. And if you pitch it off of Redeployment or Anger Knuckle or Switchyard, you can banish it on your turn 0 to shuffle back your Tunneler after you use the Tunneler to draw 2, and shuffle back your Box and your Trencher, and everything gets shuffled back. You draw another card, and on your next turn, you give yourself the opportunity to resolve Tunneler again. So you're drawing 5 cards total, which I think is crazy. So it's extremely good. Then for your proactive lowering cards, so proactive lowering cards are cards that allow you to play the game by getting over what your opponent has. And so we play 1 MST, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, and 1 Call by the Grave. So MST and Harpy's Feather Duster, we just wanted 2 outs to back row. Back row is really good this format with Striker, Tri-Brigade, and Salamangreat being in the meta. And you just want 1-for-1 trade-offs. Obviously, Harpy's Feather Duster is also like a bomb, But, you know, as long as you get over the Revolt, on average they have Revolt and Strike, so you just want to get over those 2 cards. And then as long as you're preemptively able to get over one of them, you can get over the other, and then you're able to push for a game. So Called by the Grave is also really good because it allows you to play the game turn 0, but it's also good to hit like a Drytron or something like that. So these are pretty good proactive lowering cards. It's hard to find better ones than these. And also, once again, you're going to be drawing these cards more often because of Tunneler. It's almost as if you play 2 of each of these cards because the percentages of seeing them after shuffling back extra deck cards and then drawing 2 cards from your main deck without replacement goes up like exponentially. So I think it goes up by like 30%, something like that. So then we have reactive lowering cards. We play 2 Ash, 1 Bell. Bell gives you so much coverage because of the fact that it stops Revolt, it stops like every meta deck, stops Drytrons, it stops Invocation, and like against Salamangreat it's really good with the update Jammer Play, so it's really good. And then 2 Imperm. So like you want to draw a mixture of these. You don't really want to draw like 2 Ash if you play 3 Ash. Like it's not enough. You need all of your cards to 1-for-1 trade-off because you need your non-engine cards to kind of win you the game, which is like the weakness of this deck because your deck doesn't actually like make a crazy board other than just a door with a Derek pop. So you need cards that actually interact with your opponent really well, and you need to draw a mixture of them because you need multiple interactions. So we decided to play like 2-1-2. And then we play 2 Floodgates in the form of Skill Drain and Gozen Match. Both of these are really good this format. Gozen Match against Tri Brigades like Game. Same thing with Sky Striker. Skill Drain is really good. Rivalry. We've been testing Rivalry of the Warlords in the side deck, although I think I would main it over Skill Drain, probably side Skill Drain, just because Rivalry is better going second, and then if you draw Rivalry and Gozen together, it's like Exodia against most decks. So, but there's still, Skill Drain is still really good because you have a bunch of high attack monsters. So, yeah, these 2 Floodgates are pretty good. And then that's it for the main deck, 41 cards. The idea is that you want to inflate your deck with non-engine cards, draw into them off Tunneler. Same thing with like Switchyard. And so that's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, we play 3 Goliath. Card's really good for filling up your graveyard with extra deck monsters. It can also attach to a Zeus, so you can make like 4 material Zeus, so it's extremely good. A lot of times you get to like Goliath with Anger Knuckle on the field, and you're gonna have a level 10 engrave, and you're gonna send Goliath as cost for Anger Knuckle to bring back your bullet, and then Goliath is gonna attach to your Zeus, and Zeus is gonna have 1 material under it, so Goliath becomes the 2nd material, and so you're gonna be able to Zeus on your opponent's turn without them expecting it. So a Zeus that's not anticipated is better than a Zeus that is anticipated, and it catches your opponent off guard a lot. So we play 3 Goliath, 1 Anger Knuckle, 1 Ballista, and 1 Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. This card converts losses into wins. If you get hand trapped or Widow Anchored or Shark Cannoned early on, you're able to make this with just redeployment and any other card. So it's extremely good. And on top of that, like they have to go Ningirsu to get over this, which means they sacrifice their Ray. So it basically says get rid of Ray. And then early on in the grind game against Eldelic, they have to go super minus to get over this card. So if you just make this 4,500, they can't get over it. So that's it for the Link monsters. Then for the Xyz monsters, we play a few. We play Gigan Axe. This searches a searchable Cycle Reader in our side deck. That's extremely good against Drytron going first. And then also searches our Railroad Stampede for a follow-up. So it's extremely good. And then we play 1 River Stormer. River Stormer is obviously the bread and butter of the deck. We play 1 Earth Slicer. You can pop itself to proc a Citadel. You just pop your opponent's cards. Extremely good. You can load up with a Heavy Forward to pop 3, which is crazy. You can play Enter Black Near to rip a card from your opponent before you actually start your main deck combo. And then we play 2 rank 10 trains. We play 2 number 81 Dora. Dora is like unaffected 4K defense, extremely hard to get over for Striker or any other matchup to really get over. And then it's going to have like a quick play pop. A lot of people play like Droplets or Dark Row No More against this deck. It literally does nothing because you're going to have the Derek Crane detaches cost, effective Derek Crane Grave, pop a card. Actually does nothing against this deck. So people are studying that, which is extremely incorrect. We play 1 Gustav to burn for damage. It's really good in time. It also just promotes your OTK, which is followed by a Leeb, that 6,000 damage. Against Shaddolls, if they ever go into Gravity Controller, you pretty much have game because it can't be destroyed by battle, and you attack it 3 times with 6,000. It's usually game all the time. And then we play Zeus, which is an extremely amazing card. So that's it for the deck profile. Let's give a little bit of a combo with Urgent Schedule redeployment and a blank card. But first, I do want to shout out my sponsor, Bomani Lounge, again for helping me throughout all my tournaments. Also, we do a coaching program for $5 a month. We teach you how to be good at the game, but we also teach you how to be sponsored, whether by us or any other sponsor. So we actually give you skills to advance yourself in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. So it's extremely worthwhile. If you're interested, leave a comment in the comment section below and we'll get you started. So without further ado, this is going to be the combo with Urgent Schedule, Redeployment, and any blank card going first. Let's get into it. Guys, so here's a 3-card combo. It requires Urgent Schedule, Redeployment, and any blank card. We'll say it's Ash Blossom for the purpose of the video. So we're going to activate Root Machine Redeployment, and we're going to pitch Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring as cost, and we're going to search 2 cards. So we're going to search Machina Fortress, and we're going to search Machina Metal Cruncher from our deck to our hand. Redeployment is going to go to the graveyard, and we're going to activate, we're going to normal summon our Cruncher, and Cruncher is actually going to reveal 3 copies of Infinite Track Harvester from our deck. If you already have Harvester in your hand, you can search a train, but overall, you just get the Harvester, and you're going to pitch Harvester to summon Fortress, and you're going to link these off into a Ancient Gear Ballista. So Ancient Gear Ballista is going to go off to search you an Ancient Gear Box, and then Box is going to activate its effect to search you an Infinite Track Trencher from your deck to your hand. So you get to this point where you have Urgent Schedule, Box, and Trencher with a Ballista on the field, and you're going to activate Fortress in the graveyard, pitching the Box and the Trencher from your hand to the graveyard, special summon the Fortress. Then you're going to use Trencher Engraved to banish itself to special summon your Trencher, your Harvester rather, from your graveyard, and use the effect to search any Infinite Track monster. You're going to search Infinite Track Brutal Dozer. So once Brutal Dozer is in your hand along with Urgent Schedule, you're going to make both of these level 9 using Harvester's effect, and you're not locked into Earth Machines just yet, so you're going to overlay for Phantom Fortress enter Blastneer, and you're going to use Blastneer's effect to detach 1 and banish a card from your opponent's hand. So at this point, they have to use their Nibiru if they have Nibiru, otherwise they have a chance of losing it. And then from this point on, you're just going to link these 2 off into your Double-Headed Anger Knuckle. So once you have Double-Headed Anger Knuckle on the field, you're going to actually attribute it for cost for using Dozer, and you're going to use Dozer's effect to special from the deck. You're going to special summon 1 Infinite Track Tunneler. So since we already used Box and Ballista in our combo, we have to make sure that we get the other complement piece through our Dozer. And then here we're just going to overlay, and we're going to special summon our Infinite Track River Stormer. So River Stormer is going to detach its cost to search us a Bullet, and Bullet is going to be used for our rank 10 play. Then here we can use River Stormer, link it off into an Infinite Track Goliath. So this is when we start filling up our monster, your graveyard with extra deck monsters. And then you can even you can set Urgent Schedule here, and you can use Anger Knuckle in the graveyard, since this is cost to special summon this. And you can use Urgent Schedule's effect if it's sent by searching you a level 10. So you're going to have Dare Crane in your hand along with Bullet Train. And so from this point forward, you can use River Storm or Engrave to tribute by tributing the Goliath. And then you can use Bullet special summon since you all control Earth Machines. And then since this is special, you can special Dare Crane. And then you can overlay these for a Dora, which is pretty nice. And then you can link off the River Stormer for a Goliath. So here, then you can banish your Tunneler from graveyard as costs, and you're going to shuffle back your Goliath, your Ballista, your Box, your Cruncher, and your you can shuffle back Dozer if you want. And then you're going to shuffle these back. You're going to draw 2 cards. So for this combo, you are shuffling back 3 main deck cards. For the other combos, you're going to just shuffle back 1. But just because of the combo, you have to shuffle back 3. And then with this, you're going to be drawing 2 cards. And then on your end phase, you're going to use Dora to make itself unaffected, just for the rest of the end phase. Then you have Bullet Engraved to activate the effect to add back your starter, which will be Harvester, which is really nice. And then on your opponent's turn, you have Dora, which detaches its cost to pop a card and makes itself unaffected. And then you can use Anger Knuckle, sending Goliath as cost to special summon back your Bullet. If this dies, you get another add on your next end phase, and then Goliath's effect goes off to attach back to the Dora. So next turn you have a protectable Zeus, which is really crazy. So I'll have 2.5 cards, you drew 2 cards, you bounced a card from your opponent's hand, you popped a card, you made a card unaffected, you're going to add 2 more cards next turn, and you have a threat to kill your opponent. So it's extremely good. So anyway guys, that's the main bread and butter combo that I wanted to show you guys. If you do draw that crazy hand going first, just shows Urgent Schedule is not a dead card going first, and obviously going second, these cards are even better. So anyway, once again, this is Henry from Team Lionheart, just showing you guys my train deck. I think it's really cool. Go check it out if you're looking for a deck. Definitely pick up the cards and go check out our pro program that we coach players to get better at the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So anyway, this has been Henry signing off. Peace guys. Bye.